Hello, hello. Bl'Artagnan here with Transcendence Tier 2 Crucible 2, the right nut. Bringing a team of Lightning, Ignis, and Faris. As you may have seen, I did pull her LD, which I was really hoping to do. She's a favorite character of mine, even though I know she's not in the greatest spot based on her rework. I'm going to try to take advantage of what she brings, though, especially in a stage designed kind of showcase her strengths. We're opening with Garland LD call there to get that speed down aura, because we want Lightning to kind of go crazy on these guys. This stage is a pretty good opportunity for Lightning to just kind of do the whole, zero boss turn thing. I don't think we're going to get quite to zero boss turns, but we're going to do a fine job of playing keep away and just generally making it so that these guys aren't really going to do anything problematic to us. On top of that, we have Ignis providing some weakness damage and HP damage up. In addition to the general auras and good times like that, and as also the 6 debuff slot to fully lock out the bosses from buffing themselves, because they can put some pretty nasty buffs on themselves. I think with HP damage up and HP damage resist both being really kind of annoying. So in the meantime, Faris is basically just going to stand there and kind of look pretty with her extremely slow speed and powerful call effect, while Lightning dances circles around her. I gotta say, I do like that Faris' LD just straight up reduces the enemies to 0 without breaking them at the end of every turn. And actually, it'll break them as well if you have her EX. But that just... I think there are a lot of bosses that can kind of really just get completely neutered by a mechanic like that, which is part of why I was so excited to try it out. Off the top of my head, I think you probably straight up cannot be killed by the mid-Italian slugs if you have that debuff on them, which is kind of nifty. I'm sure that's not going to be the only case where it's really helpful. I'm going to kind of conveniently try to ignore the rest of her base kit. So, going to try to shave B there with a pretty hard-hitting EX. That's the big threatening move that they have here is, I don't know, Macross Missile Madness or something ridiculous. Big AoE HP attack. Luckily, we opened with Rude Call to get bonus elemental damage from Diablos. If you didn't know, if you have Rude with at least 2 of his C50 artifact passive, then when he enters the battlefield, he'll actually boost your party's HP enough that it'll count as being below 80%, and it'll give you bonus, Diablos, Odin, Leviathan type effects when he shows up for the rest of the battle, which I think is fantastic utility and value for a base call. Of course, you're giving up having a second LD call to call upon at this point, but in this case, given that we were dealing with a 6 debuff environment, I thought that was a pretty good decision to make. So it looks like B has taken just a lot more turns than A somehow. They're down to 1 LD debuff for Faris. So I might end up using her LD just to kind of refresh that. If we get a turn of them not having it, I don't think it's the end of the world. But ideally, I don't want them doing some kind of inconvenient buff just because I let that fall off all the way for a turn. Using this is the first time we're actually pressing the LD button with Faris, and they're nearly at halfway, so I'm not terribly worried. As she tends to, Lightning kind of makes this stage a joke. When she works oppressively well. When she doesn't work, then usually you can make her work anyway by just kind of applying yourself creatively. Shoutouts to Theologica for that one. But on a stage that isn't explicitly designed to prevent her from going wild, she's going to completely dominate, which is cool for me because I enjoy playing the character. I think she's just really a fun experience to use. By kind of contrarily, I don't think Faris is actually that fun to use, although seeing the enemy get reduced to 0 does feel very good at the end of every turn, so I'll try it out a bit more and see how I like it. I'm probably going to be trying to bring her through some content just because, you know, I feel like I kind of have some skin in the game there. A little nervous about how much Brave they have, so we're going to go ahead and summon now. I'm only just realizing as I'm recording this that I totally mistimed the music and meant to have Lightning's Burst, or Blinded by the Light, show up when Lightning bursted, but I didn't want to put a third song in here, so guess we're stuck with it. Now, once again, I'm kind of realizing at this point that these guys aren't really going to be doing too much, so I'm popping in Ignis LD now just to get some additional damage in, try to end this, you know, in as quick a fashion as I can. It's kind of funny looking back, when Sid's Lost Chapter, or when Sid's event dropped with these Chicken Walker guys, they were a total nightmare. That HP damage resist is just a cruel thing to have to experience. It's kind of funny now how there are a lot of units that can just kind of make them jokes, both in terms of shutting down their debuffs and in terms of Lightning doing lightning things. Decent damage for this late in the fight there. Mixed feelings about how many debuff slots Faris takes up. Because ultimately, if the debuffs are doing something, it's not a big deal if they take 4 or 5 debuff slots. Part of why I don't mind X-Death taking as many as he does is because, like, you know, he's neutering their attack by 70% and draining them and lowering their speed, so I think that's cool. And Faris is lowering their attack by 70%, their defense by 70%, doing her LD thing. I think the thing with her debuffs that I'm a little sad by is the max Brave down and the poison feel a little bit like I'd like something a bit more impactful than that if I could have it, but like you compare it to, like, with Gabronth, he has that max Brave down unique debuff that's like, okay, that's cool, Gabronth, but I kind of wish I could put something else there. But it's only 1 slot he's taking. Faris is taking 2 extra slots of something that I would rather be taken by, like, I don't know, like a Jack debuff, by like a Hope debuff, by like an Ignis debuff. That said, I appreciate that she leaves the extra slot open, and at the end of the day, you know, there's still things that reduce the enemy's effectiveness. Poison is a nice potent thing, as is, and, you know, making so they can't cap Brave as hard to kill you is, you know, it's not bad. Once we get 8 debuff slots in, I'm sure it'll work pretty in a, you know, funny way with other max Brave down effects. Something like, I don't know, like a Desh and Edward or something like that. The animation's cool. Yeah, this there hasn't been a whole lot to talk about this fight. Their orbs have gotten low at different points because, you know, it's weakness damage to increase the orb, and Lightning only hits single target and takes a lot of turns. But she can just switch targets if it gets low, so long as they both aren't like at 2 or something. So you see there, we're just about ready to close this out. Kind of being needlessly complicated in how I do it, but there we go. Alright, that's Crucible 2. Now onto the last one. I like that ending shot. Cool. Well, I'll see you in the next video as we take on Reckoning. In the meantime, you could like this video. Oh, I forgot to put the artifact. So consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you around. Adios.